Ed Welch standing by. Speaking of travel, gas prices were on the move. And Ed Welch, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Good. They were on the move. What's happened?
Well, it's funny. We hear about we're on the move, and we've got all the we've seen hundreds of news stories about this.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the prices. And on May 2nd, it was $2.85 a gallon. That was the price, in basically for around here.
Yeah.
June 2nd, it was $2.94. July 2nd, it was $2.84. Now today, it went up to about $3 and dropped down to It's down to $2.96 today. So if you take the spread from May 2nd to today, I wouldn't call that skyrocketing gas prices.
No, I wouldn't.
So I don't know what was driving this, but I read every day. I subscribe to some oil analysts that write very boring things about the oil business.
Yeah.
And the speculators weigh in, and all these different groups weigh in. And if you took the report every day, and sometimes I get two a day, and if you were to line them up on a table, and I've done this, it's almost like they're schizophrenic. In the morning they say something, this is what's going to happen, and then 6 hours later they totally take a different direction. And the next day they take another direction. And it's like these guys are professional, we'll just say people, and that's why part of the oil business is it's like a giant casino. Basically, they're buying and selling in futures every single day. And mind you, anything can happen in the world geopolitically and change the market, as we all know. But it's I would say fuel prices have been pretty stable. And if you look across New York State, and by the way, the national average this morning is 301. That's the national average. And the New York State average is right about the same.
And that's interesting considering our taxes we have so many more taxes on gas than other states.
So part of me says that because we generally have about a 20-cent spread on that. So we as a state of New York, is not that far off the mark at the national level, which tells me that we've got plenty of gas.
Yeah.
Now, within New York State, the cheapest gas this morning, if you're driving through the state, and I look at a map every day of all the counties. We update this every day at 3 a.m. And you can tell how I spend my mornings.
Yeah.
But the Saratoga County is the cheapest today, county-wise, as an average price of $2.85. Rockland County, which isn't that far away from Saratoga County, is at $3.24.
Wow.
I never look at New York City prices because
they're out of whack.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite interesting when you look at the spread across the entire state of New York from $3.85 to $2.85 to $3.24. And again, that's a pretty good spread. But New York State's a pretty big place.
Yeah. You're always talking, and I get confused. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow. The summer blend is more expensive or less expensive?
It's more expensive, around 20 cents.
Okay,
and the reason being is that every state. Let's put it this way: we make gas to help to do the best we can to work with the environment that we're in. So a great example is if you've ever been to Denver, and I think your son's out in Colorado, right, Phil?
Yeah.
Well, Denver's at 5,000, almost 6,000 feet. And imagine the summertime when it's 90 degrees at 6,000 feet.
Right.
Well, the fuel gasoline there that goes in the car has to be a completely different blend than what happens down the road, maybe 100, 200 miles.
Didn't know that. That's very interesting.
So these are like boutique blends around the country.
Mm-hmm.
So that each area is in air compliance. You've got to take the gasoline and kind of bend it to fit the weather.
Yeah.
Los Angeles is a great example. Because of obviously they don't have a lot of wind there in the summertime. It's a hot place, and of course you get a lot of smog. So these boutique blends across the United States, refineries have to make them for all these different places.
Well, I wonder
in the wintertime, once the sun is kind of gone and the temperatures go down, you don't need to do that.
Got it.
What's called is Reed vapor pressure. And I realize we don't have a lot of time today, and you don't need a science lesson, but did you ever open your gas can in your shed in the summertime and it's expanded and the vapor comes out?
Yes.
Well, that's what's happening in your gas tank. So they have to control that. Otherwise, the car would have, in the old days, we used to call it vapor lock.
Mm-hmm.
So this would have an ill effect on your car. So they changed the vapor capacities of gasoline. And if you think about it, in the ground, it's like 50 degrees. And they pump it out, and it gets into your tank, and all of a sudden it goes from 50 degrees to almost 100 degrees. And that expansion is what causes a lot of issues.
Interesting. I do want to ask you, when you forget to put your gas cap on, you'll every once in a while see a car driving down the road, and their gas cap is not on. You don't feel it. You're driving along just as normal. Is your car operating differently?
It's not operating differently because your systems will compensate. But what will happen is eventually you're going to get a check engine light.
Okay.
Because your gasoline system is a sealed system. And again, when we talk about that pressure inside your gas tank, inside your whole fuel system, there's sensors that are going to pick that up and say, hey, wait a minute. This isn't being pressurized properly.
Interesting. All right.
And the idea is to force the vapors through the combustion process, not into the atmosphere. You know, in the old days, we just had, a vented gas cap, right?
Yep.
Your gas tank vented itself to the atmosphere. And that's what it was back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and through the early 80s.
Today. Yeah. All right. Listen, I know it seems like a world away, but on Saturday morning, you can listen to Auto Talk on WIBX, hosted by our very own Ed Welch. And, Ed, thanks for taking the time. We always get a little bit of a lesson, and I like it. Thanks so much.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. You have a great day, and happy motoring.
All right. Have a great day. We'll break at WIBX.